After Liv Morgan's loss against Rhea Ripley's squad at War Games last weekend, many fans have summed up a big problem with the women's ongoing dispute. During her revenge tour, which began at the 2024 Royal Rumble and lasted for months, Liv Morgan attacked Rhea Ripley many times, inflicted injuries on her, and eventually turned heel. Morgan, who was formerly racing away from Rhea Ripley, is now a coward due to her fear of her after the heel turn. The conflict has raged on for most of 2024, and it seems that Mommy will never stop targeting Morgan as long as she is the champion. With Io Sky's victory, WWE ERW's Women's World Championship picture might finally grow in the coming months. However, one could argue that Rhea Ripley's injury prevented her from traveling to Saudi Arabia. Thus, this is all about her. Curiously, Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley were formerly a successful tag team. Therefore, their feud predates the Judgment Day's shakeup. According to Ripley, the Women's World Championship rightfully belongs to her. In reality, she was injured in an assault by Morgan, which compelled her to relinquish the title. The only way to end the rivalry is for Ripley to regain her title, or for Morgan to be deposed, as it is difficult to argue with her. The next weeks might see Morgan defending her championship against Io Sky, which could be the moment when the title is officially changed. A lot of people have been paying attention to the conflicts between Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan recently. The battle between these two superstars, who are two of WWE's most exciting female opponents, might change the face of women's wrestling in 2024. Nevertheless, a major problem has surfaced that might derail their plot: the story's lack of direction and character development. Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan have been friends since they were in the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship picture as a tag team. Because of their history of friendship and mutual regard, the effect of their breakup was magnified. Their dramatic breakup laid the groundwork for an intense rivalry down the road, but their trajectories have changed dramatically throughout the last 12 months. As a result of her tenure as SmackDown Women's Champion, now called the Women's World Championship, and her crucial part in the Judgment Day group, Ripley has become one of WWE's top heels. The character played by Liv Morgan, meantime, has relied on her resiliency and unpredictable nature to highlight her status as an underdog. Although both paths naturally clash, WWE has failed to consistently develop Morgan's plot, leaving her character seeming aimless compared to Ripley's relentless rise. The fact that it is biased is one major problem with the dispute. At the moment, Rhea Ripley is presented by WWE as a virtually unstoppable opponent. She is the undisputed favorite in every match due to her supremacy in the Judgment Day and her record of triumphs against prominent figures in the women's division. Her seemingly unstoppable presence has, however, put a huge gap between herself and Liv Morgan, whose bookings have been, to put it mildly, unpredictable. Although Liv has a devoted fan following and is obviously skilled, she hasn't been set up to pose a serious challenge to Ripley. Opportunistic moments, or outside interference, not absolute domination or tactical genius, are usually the keys to Morgan's triumphs. Fans don't think Liv has a chance against Ripley, who has annihilated even her most formidable rivals, which lowers the stakes in their competition. Another big problem is how WWE has handled the character development of Liv Morgan during the feud. Her intimidating, no-nonsense demeanor is crucial to Ripley's character development. Because the Judgment Day is a narratively pervasive group in WWE, her loyalty to them gives depth to her tale. Contrarily, Liv encounters feelings of solitude. Developing Morgan's backstory and tactics for coping with Ripley was an opportunity that the creative team blew. Investigating more in-depth psychological aspects might enhance Liv's character, whether it's engaging in mind games with Ripley, forging alliances with unexpected friends, or embracing a darker, edgier side to even the odds. On the other hand, Morgan's underdog cliché has been WWE's bread and butter, and without new ingredients, it's beginning to seem old. Liv Morgan's conflict with Ripley is made even more complicated by WWE's inconsistent booking of her. Morgan's successes, including capturing the SmackDown Women's Championship and the Money in the Bank briefcase, have been overshadowed by her mediocre stints as a title holder and her frequent absences from important storylines. Although fans were excited to see Morgan back on WWE television, her momentum was quickly stymied by defeats and segments that made her seem like an afterthought. The only way for WWE to establish Morgan as a formidable rival to Ripley is to highlight her skills in both bouts and promotions. If she wants to be seen seriously as a danger, she must first win easily against formidable opponents. Rhea Ripley's personal feuds take a back seat to the dominance of the Judgment Day. Despite the fact that they are a fascinating group in WWE, her battle with Liv Morgan loses some of its intensity, since she focuses too much on the faction. This rivalry seems more like an extension of Ripley's group domination than a deeply personal grudge match, since WWE has repeatedly injected the Judgment Day into the storyline, rather than concentrating on the history between Ripley and Morgan. The plot that may have revolved on Morgan's journey for redemption and her will to triumph against her ex-partner is derailed by this dynamic. The lack of high-stakes bouts to intensify the rivalry is a major problem with the feud. WWE hasn't scheduled a Ripley versus Morgan bout that seems like a final confrontation just yet. Their prior meetings have often taken place in low-key TV fights, or amongst many women, neither of which have the gravity to warrant a significant animosity. The rivalry may be more interesting if WWE considered stipulation bouts that highlighted the abilities of both ladies. Morgan may show her strength in the face of Ripley's domination in a last woman standing, steel cage, or no disqualification bout, which would enhance the plot. In order to fix these problems and save the feud, WWE has to improve its storylines and booking tactics right away. Climb to new heights the persona of Liv Morgan. WWE should stop using Morgan as an underdog and start giving her a real story. Morgan might become a more formidable adversary to Ripley by delving into her shadowy or strategic side. To even out the power dynamic, you might pair her with a fascinating faction, or introduce her to a mentor figure. Take it to a personal level for an approachable and engaging tale. Go back to the tender moments shared by Ripley and Morgan. Fans would have more of an emotional investment in their feud if the show highlighted their former relationship and the subsequent betrayal. Cut down interference on Judgment Day. Although Ripley's character is heavily influenced by the Judgment Day, the emphasis here should be on her personal rivalry with Morgan rather than the plot surrounding the day itself. Ripley and Morgan would be able to stand on their own 2 feet if the faction's interference were limited. Reserve matches with big bets, altering rules to include provisions such as a last woman or no disqualification. The contest would be more exciting and unpredictable if it was a standing match. Even more so than Ripley's physical superiority, Morgan would learn innovative strategies for dominating these battles. The reliable booking service for Liv Morgan needs to be booked by WWE as a serious contender. It would be helpful to build her credibility by giving her decisive victories against strong opponents in the weeks running up to her bouts with Ripley.